In May of 1998, there were major riots across Indonesia, mainly targeted at Chinese Indonesians who controlled much of the small-time trade and commerce in that country. They are famously now referred to as the 1998 riots or the 1998 tragedy, in which over 1,000 people, mainly Chinese Indonesians, died. There were incidents of mass violence, demonstrations, civil unrest, which all occurred mainly in the Medan province, this was in northern Sumatra, and then the violence spread to the capital, Jakarta. The violent riots were triggered by corruption, economic problems, massive food shortages, mass unemployment. Eventually, it led to the resignation of the longtime president of the country, Suharto, and the fall of the New Order government. That government and Suharto had been in power for over 30 years. So things have come a long way 20 years later between China and Indonesia. Indonesian President Joko Widodo became the first global leader to visit Beijing in a rare state visit, the first time that a global leader has come calling to Beijing since the Winter Olympics back in February. Beijing, over the last 2 years, has had a very strict zero-COVID policy, and visits by foreign heads of state have been very rare. Joko Widodo met with Xi Jinping this week. He's also visiting Japan as well as South Korea in what is a three-nation Asia tour. On Crux DeCode, why is Beijing courting Jakarta? Why is Xi Jinping rolling out the red carpet for Joko Widodo? And why does Jokowi want to visit Beijing when the overall mood in Southeast Asia seems to have turned against China? China is Indonesia's largest trading partner, with two-way trade reaching over $110 billion last year. Bilateral investment is over $3 billion. So it's no small wonder that trade and investment were top of the agenda for Widodo's trip to Beijing. His visit was mutually beneficial, according to both Chinese and Indonesian officials. Analysts say that Xi Jinping is making good use of this opportunity to spotlight Beijing's position that it is gradually ready to open its doors for foreign dignitaries. Indonesia is a key partner for China in Asia. It was the place where Xi Jinping, back in 2013, had unveiled the Maritime Silk Route, which is the maritime equivalent of China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative. It was also a golden opportunity for Indonesia to discuss various economic issues, particularly in the investment side involving China. Now, one of those issues is the long-delayed high-speed rail project involving Indonesian and Chinese state-owned enterprises. In fact, Indonesia's first high-speed railway, which has been under construction for the last 6 years, will connect Jakarta, the capital, with the city of Bandung. This basically uses China's CR400AF, the Fuxing bullet trains, which are the fastest in the world. On the Chinese side, there is still no clarity about what has caused this project to be delayed. The fast train is going to be Joko Widodo's legacy. And of course, he wants this project to be operational before 2024, when he's up for re-election. Analysts have also pointed to the timing of Widodo's visit just ahead of the G20 summit to be held in Bali in November. Indonesia currently holds the annual presidency of the world's top economic forum, made up of the top 20 economies of the world. Jokowi has undertaken several other trips to different G20 countries recently, including one to Russia, where he met with President Vladimir Putin, spoke to him about the ongoing war with Ukraine, and in particular about restarting food exports. Jokowi, in fact, formally invited Xi Jinping for the G20 summit. The challenge will be when the pandemic is over. The zero-COVID policy in China will affect investment in Indonesia, as indeed in other countries, and Jokowi will be seeking support from G20 countries to attend the summit in Bali. In fact, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin told a press briefing that the talks were an in-depth exchange of views focused on bilateral ties as well as major regional and international issues. But it's not been all hunky-dory between Jakarta and Beijing. Over the years, China-Indonesia relations have at times been rather tense. Indonesia's main concern with regards to security matters with China is about sovereignty. Indonesia and China do not have a formal dispute in the South China Sea, unlike between China and Vietnam or China and the Philippines. However, parts of Indonesia's exclusive economic zone, or the EEZ, they are claimed by China under its now infamous 9-dash line. This has been one of the main sources of diplomatic tensions between Beijing and Jakarta. Chinese Coast Guard vessels have repeatedly entered Indonesia's exclusive economic zone. They've come within 12 nautical miles of Indonesian waters on multiple occasions in the last 10 years. Authorities have also recovered suspected Chinese surveillance drones in the waters of South Sulawesi, the Rayu Islands, and East Java. Indonesia is a very nationalistic country, but officials have often tried to downplay incidents whenever it comes to China. Now, this is mainly because of the economic relationship between both countries. The relationship is symbiotic, but also at times it is tenuous. On one hand, Indonesia needs China because of China's huge economy, a huge source of investment and trade. But on the other hand, Indonesia is also wary of China as a source of trouble, notably in these contested waters of the South China Sea. In the last 10 years, China's growing belligerence in these waters and its favorability in Indonesia has decreased significantly as a consequence. Trust in China has declined among Indonesians, according to a 2021 survey by the Lowy Institute, which is an Australian think tank. When Indonesians were asked which country is the most important for Indonesia's economy, 18% said the United States and only 12% said China. 30% were in favor of Chinese investment. That same figure for US investment was 42%. Now, here's the interesting thing. A similar poll by the same institute 10 years ago in 2011 that found that a majority of Indonesians believed that China would be Asia's leading economic power. Today, less than a third feel the same way. So clearly, there are a whole host of issues between Indonesia and China, but there are also great convergences. As and when China gets out of its zero COVID policy, and as and when it starts to open up to the rest of the world again, particularly in Southeast Asia, where the mood seems to have turned against China, it needs friends in its corner, and Joko Widodo would perhaps be one of them.